Auburn University Marching Band. For your halftime entertainment, we celebrate the 43-year reign of the speed metal kings, Metallica. With 9 Grammy Awards and 14 nominations, 38 concert tours worldwide, and 11 studio albums that span 4 decades, the Titans of Thrash remain the standard by which all other metal is measured. We begin with a 1984 classic from their second album, For Whom the Bell Tolls, followed by the 1992 tour anthem, Wherever I May Roam. And then, let's turn down the house and light up the stage with the Auburn University Marching Band and their show, Metallica.
Wednesday night, once again, and that means it's time for you, the Auburn family, to take center stage here at E2C Network. We've got our Auburn Family Night live call-in show coming up next for you. We'll get into anything and everything in the Auburn experience, Auburn sports, Auburn culture, Auburn family stuff. It's all fair game. Comments, questions, and calls, all coming your way right now. War Eagle, everybody, and welcome back to another edition of E2C Network Live, where we get together, we sit down, and we talk to you, the Auburn family, about the Auburn experience, especially on Auburn Family Night. Here, the Auburn experience for us is all about a few things, as we said: Auburn sports, Auburn culture, Auburn family stuff. An easier way to say it: if it's orange and blue, it's what we do. So thank you so much, and join us in what we're going to do on this evening's live stream, Auburn Family Night. Calls are coming in, or hopefully coming in this evening, from you, the audience. Don't be shy. You can take advantage of that at any time throughout the show. We'll also be taking comments, questions, topics from you in the live chat. And I'll just be sharing what comes to mind for me here tonight. And a lot of you guys can kind of puppeteer and pick what we discuss. But sit back, relax, and get involved as well in our show that we do every single Wednesday night. We've been doing this since the dawn of time, back before there was really anything big on YouTube Auburn-wise. With that being said, I'd love to welcome you to Auburn Family Night, and appreciate you being here. If you're a returner, thanks for coming back. If you are brand new to what we do here on Auburn Family Night, or just in general, welcome. Hope that you'll come back for subsequent nights. We're going to have less and less conflicts on Wednesday nights now that the official regular season of basketball is over with. We do have postseason stuff, which I'm sure a lot of our focus will center around tonight. But all that to be said, we've got a lot of things that we could dive into this evening. What you can do for us to start off the show: smash that like button. If you like this type of stuff, let people know that we're live. Let them know that they can join in on the conversation and participate in the show and get their voice heard excuse me, this evening. And it'll be hopefully a little bit more productive and less of a raspy sound than it was last week, when I was still battling what essentially still was the middle of a sickness for me. I've got a little bit of the tickle still on here, but other than that, I think I'm good. I got a clean bill of health, mostly from the doctor today, or at least that's my wife says, based off all the tests and stuff that you go do in your checkup. So I'm feeling okay and ready to roll this evening. Let me give you some things to think about as you guys are coming in and announcing your presence into the chat. To do that for us, obviously, it's the middle of SEC tournament action. Now, I know a lot of you are locked into that this evening, and I know I have no qualms about that whatsoever. This comes around once a year, and you should enjoy it to its fullest extent. Here at Auburn Family Night, we are going to try to keep our focus strictly about the Auburn side of things and focus mainly on that. But certainly we can gray the lines of that a little bit this evening if we need to, and discuss anything that's out there. I know there are people starting to think about, well, who will Auburn face, things like that. So that's fair game this evening if you'd like to do that. I believe we are 1 week away from the start of spring practices as well, if anybody wants to start discussing some of those things, other than who's going to be the starting quarterback, because nobody knows. That's on the table as well. I am supporting Auburn softball tonight, although they did take a loss in Atlanta this evening. I had a hankering to go to that because I don't live super far from Atlanta, but just had a few extra things going on here, so I was not able to go to that match. And I probably would have just been like pulling here on 2 wheels in time to do this show. So it works out for me. It doesn't work out for them. They do lose this evening. Baseball won their midweek game. So with that being said, there's a lot of things for you to think about, for you to mull around in your head, to ask questions about. But let's get into what you guys want to talk about. Don't be shy if you're joining in the chat right now. Let us know what's on your mind, what you want to discuss, what you're thinking about, what you're focused on this evening. I do have the bracket available if we do need to pull that up for reference at any point throughout the stream, and we might do that. But I'm also trying to pull up right now. I know this is only applicable for the live portion of the show. The scores right now from the SEC tournament, so that we could discuss those a little bit if we needed to. Of course, it doesn't pull up exactly what I need it to when I need it to do it. That is the nature of technology. All right, SEC tournament time. How's everybody feeling? Are we excited? I hope a lot of you aren't dismissing this tournament and Auburn's need to do well in it. It's an important thing. You don't want to just dismiss this out of hand. We got some comments coming in about the tournament. We'll take in just a second here. Yes, Neil, I am feeling better. Thank you for acknowledging that. The voice still's got a little bit of the, but other than last week, if y'all were here last week, you know how bad it was. All right, so as of right now, let me give you the action, and we'll take our first caller this evening. They've already getting queued up in the queue here. Right now, we've already concluded 2 games. This is as of 9:05 Eastern time on Wednesday, the first day of the SEC tournament. Arkansas beat South Carolina. Now, they had a pretty sizable lead on South Carolina, so they came roaring back. That's a game with implications for Auburn. They all technically are, but you understand. Texas and Vanderbilt. Texas won 79-72. And right now, as of this moment, Mississippi State is putting a thumping, and I do mean a thumping, on LSU. And it looks like with 3 minutes left, that's not going to really change all that much. So Oklahoma and Georgia are on tap tonight. That one could go either way, but I think Georgia probably has got that in the bag. But that's kind of where we sit at right now. Obviously, there are implications for Auburn mixed in with all that, who they may or may not see. I think I predicted Arkansas is who we would see in the grand scheme of things as our first opponent, but we'll see if that shakes out that way. Tim said, I think Ole Miss will win tomorrow and be our first opponent. Certainly, they are a very viable option to do so, but they've got to get through Arkansas to be able to do that. Excited and believe we will beat Ole Miss, Tennessee, and Florida. Tim is calling his shot this evening for the SEC tournament. Those of you that watched and listened to the podcast this week with me and Austin, we offered our preview and predictions of that, and you can go listen to that if you want the full thing. I did predict Auburn to go all the way to the SEC championship game. Did I predict them to win against 2? You'll have to go and find out for yourself if you haven't done so already. Devin's here, excited about tournament time, and why wouldn't you be? It's awesome. And Neil is hoping that the team is well rested and ready to destroy everyone in the tournament. I need more of that energy in my life right now, Neil. The Auburn fandom needs more of that in their life right now. All right, we've got our first caller queued up, ready to go. Let's go ahead and get him in right now, and then we'll bounce around to some other topics so y'all can start dropping those in whenever. You know him, you love him, one of our regulars. What's going on, Kevin?
Mr. Jaquez Hunter.
You're Mr. Jaquez Hunter? Or are you trying to be him?
I said he loved you.
Yeah.
Well, is that who you're trying to emulate this evening?
Yeah.
Okay. Did you see the picture of him saying goodbye to the campus riding on the horseback?
Yeah, I will miss him.
We're all going to miss Jarquez Hunter. He is quite the talent.
How's Brian Beatty doing?
You know, I don't know him personally, and I haven't heard any big updates on him. So I would say right now, given all he went through, no news is good news, is probably what I would go with. So last we saw of him, he made it to the Iron Bowl, I believe. Yeah. And was able to make an appearance there. But other than that, I don't know that there's any real big updates out there for him.
I'm ready for the SEC tournament so we can win it.
Well, it's already started. So are you watching it today at all?
Yeah. I'm only for Auburn. That's it.
Well, yes, I understand, but we've got some of these teams that are in the tournament. We'll be seeing, like in Arkansas potentially.
I
Um,
think I think we will play Ole Miss.
You and a lot of other people think Ole Miss is who is up next, and frankly, I probably should want that since we've beaten them twice. Although there is that saying out there that beating someone twice is difficult, beating someone 3 times is near impossible.
Yeah.
So you may not want to face Ole Miss a third time. Arkansas, I feel like, can be beaten because there's the narrative out there that they may be a little tired. They've got some injuries that may run them
Yeah,
down a
their
little bit
two best
quicker.
players is out.
Right. So they may be a little bit more tired, and that may play into Auburn's favor. But when I picked Arkansas to face Auburn, I was mainly thinking just that's the talent impresses me enough to think they could get there to face Auburn.
How's your sickness going?
Appreciate you asking. I'm doing much better than you saw last week. Last week I probably looked pretty pathetic and sounded pathetic. I got a little bit of still a little cough here and there that just anytime you have a little sickness. But other than that, I am miles and miles better than I was last week at this time.
I got number 18 jersey on.
Now you're wearing that for who tonight?
Thomas Bailey.
Thomas Bailey?
Yeah, he played.
You mean Tanner Bailey?
No, he played for Auburn in the 90s.
Oh, okay. Well, I just slipped my mind, but thank you for reminding me. I see 18. I think of Seth Williams. I think of Cody Burns.
It is Seth Williams jersey.
Well, there you go. So maybe you're wearing it for Seth Williams after all.
Yeah.
So what are you most excited about for spring practice that's starting next week?
The running backs and the wide receivers.
To see how they look, all gelled together, all that kind of stuff.
And all the quarterbacks we got.
Yeah. Well, remember, we will only be seeing really 3 of them. Ashton Daniels will not be on. He's not participating in spring just because I don't think the transfer happened before that. So, but I think
Will he get to play?
Yeah. He just, it actually used to be the more common thing that you don't show up if you're a new player until the summer. It's a fairly new thing that people get to come in early in the spring. Now, transfers is a different story. High schoolers is what I was mainly referring to there. But
is Antonio Coleman? Is he at down at Auburn yet?
Which say that again? Who?
Antonio Coleman.
Oh, Antonio Coleman. It threw me back there for a couple of years ago because we had a different Antonio Coleman. I don't know. I don't know if I ever saw a list of the guys who, were in. If you want to know who's here, just go to the Auburn roster. They've got it currently listed for spring. So if you want to know if someone is here, they're going to be listed there for you.
I hope Spree's doing good.
Yeah, it was sad news for him, wasn't it, to hear that? But it sounds like there's some hope for a good ending to all of that with treatment and everything like that. So we'll definitely pray for him.
And I think your starter in the quarterback room will be either Deuce Knight or Jackson Arnold.
You're probably not far off from the truth on that one.
Because that's what Jeffrey Lee said on Sunday night.
I think Jeffrey Lee probably knows what he's talking about. Although I will say this as well. I don't think that's stepping out all that much to say either of the two of them will be the starter. Now, let me say this as well. I have full respect for Ashton Daniels. He's actually popped in on a live stream on TikTok that we've done before.
He did?
Yeah, he did. We've had, believe it or not, on TikTok, we've had Janai Broom stop in, Ashton Daniels stop in, a couple of the new recruits.
Who you think will be the player of the year
for basketball? My hope is it'll be Janai Broom. I wondered, is the media hype train too much behind Cooper Flagg? But I do think it should be Janai Broom, to be honest with you.
Mississippi State beat LSU real bad.
Yeah, they did. Real bad. You got a fan here in Luttrell on Facebook says, my guy Kevin. There you go. So you got a
Yeah, my
fan club
God.
already.
Yeah.
All right, give me to round out our time together. I need a prediction from you. Who does Auburn? I'm assuming you're picking Auburn to go to the championship game, right?
Yeah.
The SEC champion. So I knew that was going to be the case. Who
They
are they
will.
playing? Who are they playing, and do they beat them?
They will play either Alabama or Florida.
That's probably the two safest picks there, but probably the two most likely picks as well. So, do they beat either of those guys for the championship? Your prediction?
Yeah, they will win the championship.
Win the whole dang thing, regular season, then the tournament
Then
title.
we be overall #1 seed in the NCAA tournament.
That would definitely secure that for us by winning the SEC tournament. Look, I hope you are right. I'm excited because SEC tournament March Madness time is here, and I know that you are very excited as well. So
Hey,
we'll
when will March Madness start?
technically next Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Tuesday they do the play-in games, but we're close to it. So be looking for that and sign up for our bracket challenge when we put that out. Okay.
When will that go out?
Probably on Sunday afternoon as soon as they announce the bracket. So
Is the selections Sunday this coming Sunday?
that is, you got it right. Selection Sunday, right after, as soon as all the conference tournaments are done, we'll know exactly what the bracket looks
We'll
like.
be the SEC champs too again.
I hope so. I hope so. All right, buddy. Well, thank you for calling in again, and we're good to hear from you as always.
War Eagle.
All right, War Eagle. Good to hear from Kevin tonight. You guys can take advantage of the phone lines just like he did. It is pinned to the top of the chat on YouTube. I would love to hear some of our regulars we haven't heard from in a while, some of you that we haven't heard from before. Trust me, it's not that difficult. Just call in. You don't have to be on camera. And we'd love for you to take part in that tonight. It does creates that little effect of everybody's got to take part of it if they see other people doing it as well. And you can participate in the chat as well. And let's get into some of the comments and questions that topics that you'd like to hit mostly this evening. Okay. Devin brought this to our attention while we were in there. Says Flag had a mediocre game against UNC. Meanwhile, Broome went off against a top 10 team. And looking at the whole body of work, I think Broome deserves the player of the year. Yeah, when you're getting into conversations about whether it's Janai Broome versus Cooper Flag, Auburn versus Duke, Auburn versus Houston, Auburn versus Florida, and stuff like that, what I'm finding a lot is, if you're a person who's legitimately trying to have a conversation about it and not just trying to be a troll, you're looking at the full picture of everything. And when you do that, it's at bare minimum, a strong case either way. But you can be a homer and be a troll and act like that Cooper Flag's got it in the bag and it's the only likely option and stuff like that, or Auburn is trash or whatever. But if you look at the full body of work, you'll know that none of those narratives are true. I think I've said this for a long time now. I got nothing but respect for Cooper Flag and what he's doing. And I think he is a great option as player of the year from my outside looking in. I do think that he's played against less competition, is thriving that way. And I also do think he's been propped up by the media as that freshman phenom story is just a little bit cooler than a fifth-year senior. However, when we take those elements into consideration and talk about, what Janai Broome has done against this level of competition in the SEC, it's a very strong case for Janai. Now, I don't know how everything else is going to shape out. I don't really even know how all the voting and stuff works with that. My understanding is that the Sporting News has a say somehow in how this is selected as one of the publications that's respected in that regard, and they named Janai the Player of the Year today. That was announced today, and to go along with his SEC Player of the Years across AP and the SEC media and stuff like that, and coaches. But I think it's a very strong case for Janai Broome. I think it's a strong case for Cooper Flag. I personally, and I would say this even if it was roles were swapped, like Cooper was the fifth-year guy and Janai was the freshman phenom. I like rewarding guys who have done more for the game of basketball than the game of basketball is doing for them. And I know that sounds a little harsh, and I don't mean it necessarily that harsh, but to be honest, that's exactly the comparison we're talking about with the two right now. who's done more for the game of basketball, and that would be Janai Brim. He stuck around. He stayed around. NIL is a big reason for that. Cooper Flagg's a one-and-done guy, and he's out of here. So it's a flash in the pan, and we're rewarding that. I just don't know. Let's see here. Devin says, I hate to admit it because I hate Duke, but I respect Cooper Flagg too. He's a good player. Definitely do not respect his mom, though. Wow, I didn't know we were bringing mothers in tonight. Am I missing something on this one? Listen, you can give respect, but also just hate someone's guts as termed in the way that a fandom does, not truly hating their guts as a human being. And that's how I operate mostly with that. Devin said, I read a fantastic article about Janai's story last week. Really cool journey. And I would love for his story, his journey to be honored with that ending by getting that Player of the Year honor. You can hear the twinge in my voice starting to rise up again. All right, this is from Unbeaten Lake. He says, hope we make it to the finals again. Was fortunate to be given a sweet ticket last year, and it spoiled me because we had it all to ourselves. Might have to sneak my way in this year. Well, la-dee-da. You got a sweet ticket? A literal sweet ticket? That's pretty awesome. I'm a little jealous of you now. I have never, well, actually, I shouldn't say that. I went to the championship game of the tournament in 2000 or maybe 1999. Anyway, the year that we made it with Mamadou Njai, Chris Porter, Damian Fishbag, Scotty Pullman, who else? Doc Robinson, forgetting some other very important names there too as well, I'm sure. I was there with my dad in the Georgia Dome, what was the Georgia Dome, to watch that, and that was a lot of fun. That's the only time that I've been to an SEC tournament game, or it was a championship. We did lose to Arkansas, but it was a great time. I remember having a lot of fun at that one. Thomas checking in with us. Good to see you, Thomas. War Eagle. All right, we got a little explanation from Devin here on her issue with Cooper Flagg's mother. I didn't know we were bringing mothers into it tonight. His mom has been acting a little foolish at the Carolina game, cussing people out. Just not the best behavior. I'm embarrassed if that was my mom. Well, everybody doesn't have the same standards, and I'm not excusing it, but I think, it is what it is, and I haven't seen it to make a judgment call on that. I'm not going to knock someone's chances and I know you're not either, but at the National Player of the Year simply because their family can't behave. That's like keeping Patrick Mahomes from, his due respect because his family can't behave out there a little bit. Anyway, so it's a very lively debate. And I don't know when they select does anybody know off the top of their head the Naismith Player of the Year award? Speaking of which, I don't want to say additional or I don't know what's the term I'm looking for. The other award alongside is the Defensive Player of the Year, and Denver is one of the finalists for that, and so deservingly so. Do I think he's going to win it? Probably not, but I think the fact that he has worked his way into that type of recognition is a great thing for him. Great thing for Auburn, great thing for him. So glad that he's getting some recognition. Devin's got us covered here. Friday, April 11th is the ceremony. I thought that is when it would be. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. So let's do some quick math here. Sorry, we're gonna do some workshopping here on the show. Hope you all forgive me. So we wrap up conference tournaments on Sunday the 16th. First round runs through the 23rd. First and second rounds. Second, third, and fourth rounds, Sweet 16, Elite 8, runs through the 30th, which means that the Final Four would be the weekend of the 6th, on Saturday the 12th, and the game would probably be on the 7th. So that means that ceremony is almost several days after that. I thought they did the ceremony for Walker when he won Defensive Player of the Year. He did win that, right? Yeah, I think he did. I thought they did that the week of the championship game, like right before the championship game. I could be wrong. Either way, it's coming up soon. We can all agree on that, right? It's coming up very, very, very soon. It's been nice this week, I think, looking at all of the different awards and recognitions for those of you that missed out on a few of those. We obviously know that Coach Pearl was named as all the SEC ones came in, all SEC. Coach of the Year, Bruce Pearl. Player of the Year, Janai. First team, Janai. Third team, Chad. Defensive team, Denver. And freshman team, Tahad Pettiford. All great additions. I would have liked to have seen Miles make a third team, but there were already enough snubs, I think, that a lot of people were talking about, and probably rightfully so from other SEC schools. I don't know how it would have looked if Auburn had gotten someone else in there. I think Miles showed his versatility as more than just a scorer throughout the year, rebounding, leading in rebounds several times defensively. I would have liked Miles to have gotten a little bit of recognition. To is there anybody that's missing from these lists that you think should have? I think Miles and Dylan are probably your likely candidates for who should maybe are your best candidates at Auburn for making some type of first, second, third team, defensive team. Freshman, it would just be Tahad because he's the one that's seen most of the playing time. I think you could make a case, and I don't know if they'd give this out. The Sixth Man of the Year award of the SEC would have gone to Tahad Pettiford, even as a freshman, considering how dynamic he was coming off the bench. And it's why it sparked throughout this whole year this discussion about whether he should start or not. My argument was, why would you mess a good thing up? He's doing so well in that current role. All right, back to the tournament talk here. This is from Unbeaten Lake. He says, who do we want, Arkansas or Ole Miss? Arkansas, don't know if you want to play Cal again. Ole Miss, like Bruce would say, it's really hard to beat a team 3 times in the season. You may have maybe, I don't know if you were here when we were discussing this very thing a little bit earlier in the show, Unbeaten Lake, but you're kind of hitting on exactly what I said then. Talent, Cal, Arkansas, that's what you think of, can catch you at the wrong moment. They're going to be down a few players, and thus they're probably going to be a little bit extra tired. Does that factor into it? Maybe. Beating someone 3 times is near impossible. It feels like, at least, unless you're just that much better than them. And I don't think the chasm between Ole Miss and Auburn is as big as some of the results of the games makes it look like. It feels a little scarier to play Ole Miss, to be honest with you. At some point, they've got to have our number as good as they are, and I would hate to have that happen in the SEC tournament. So I guess everybody's going to see this differently. I predicted Arkansas would be the team that we played, but that we'll know tomorrow night. At least Arkansas has moved on for now. All right, with the little funny, I thought CBM should get Mr. Congeniality for men's basketball. Yes, he would definitely win that, and heads would have rolled at that very thing. I'm very happy that Chad got third team. In fact, I think it's the exact preseason awards that were given out, or preseason watch list, that Janai would make first team, Chad would make third team. So they got it pretty right this year. Devin says, I looked more into it. The original date I found was incorrect. It is the 5th of April. So during the weekend of the final. See, I knew what I was talking about. Thank you for doing the research to figure that out. It wouldn't make sense to me to do it unless you want to factor in the championship games, the Final 4 games. I think it's a lot like the Heisman Trophy. You do it kind of in the middle of the postseason, and you're rewarding the regular season. So that's the question here, right? Do they factor in Cooper Flagg and Janai's performances in the tournaments into the decision? I think they probably have to, unless their votes are already submitted. That 11th felt very, very late, so I'm glad you looked that up. The 5th of April. So that would mean, if our date is correct there, that would likely be the day of the Final 4. If the Final Four is usually on the Saturday, both games, and then they take the day off, and then they play the championship game on that Monday. Unless they're going to play them on Friday this time around and have 2 days off. I don't know. We'll see. We shall see. Can y'all tell I'm excited about March Madness? I'm really excited about March Madness. It's gonna be so fun. It's gonna be so fun. I've already been planning out my thing. All right, we're about 30 minutes into the show. I'd love for you guys to participate in the call-in link. We'd only provide this one night a week, so please do take advantage of it if you can. Hit the link up there at the top of the chat. If you're on Facebook, it's pinned up at the top of YouTube. If you're on Facebook, you might have to go up to the top of the chat and find it because I don't think I can pin it there. Hit the link, choose to be on camera or not, and then you roll. And if there's someone in line in front of you, we'll get you in as soon as we can. But we'd love to hear from you, even if it's just to say hello. Even if you don't know what to say, just give it a try. We'd love to get that ball rolling a little bit more this year. All right, I'm going to bring up the bracket a little bit since that's kind of where our focus is tonight and where a lot of what we've been talking about it has been centralized around. Excuse me. So let me pull this out a little bit, and we'll pull the bracket up just for a little bit to let you guys look at it and keep in mind it's not updated. It is simply going to be what it was listed at the very beginning. All right, so there you go. We'll talk through that a little bit, and just because we have the bracket up doesn't mean we can't bounce to some other Auburn-related topics, so don't be shy if you want to switch gears a little bit. A couple comments here. Just hope we don't play like in the 2021-22 season. Had a week off, but we still look like we were tired. Yeah, there's something to that. Everybody assumes just because you get the time off to quote unquote rest, heal, whatever, that's the ultimate good. No, it can get you out of your rhythm. And that's why I'm not taking that first game for granted. Playing in the SEC, you shouldn't take any single game for granted, even in a tournament situation. Devin says, I'm trying to talk my husband into going for tickets for San Antonio, but I'm also nervous about getting them, and then we don't make it. It's a conundrum. You can also sell them. By the way, if you do plan on buying tickets, try to buy them on SeatGeek and help support us. And because, that's the official Auburn. I know it won't be for March Madness, their official sponsor, but it's what Auburn uses. So anytime you use that, use the code E2C Network, and we will be you'll support us in a little kickback way anytime you're using any tickets related to Auburn. All right, so here's the bracket. We do know that Arkansas has moved on. We do know that Texas has moved on, and we know that Mississippi State has moved on. I think all of those. Now, I had somebody had Vanderbilt in our show going a little bit further, and then Oklahoma and Georgia still have to be played. So obviously the most important one for you all as Auburn fans to pay attention to tomorrow is going to be that very first matchup, Ole Miss and Arkansas. So that's at noon Central, 1 Eastern. So be looking for that. You also want to pay attention to Texas A&M versus Texas to see who's going to be facing Tennessee, who would face Auburn in the final or the semifinals, I should say, of the SEC tournament if they make it that far. So big implications tomorrow in the first 2 games for Auburn overall. So be paying attention to that. And there's the other side of the bracket, which we don't really care about because we won't see any of them till the very end if we make it there. But that gives you a perspective. Anything that you guys want to discuss from that, bring it up. I just wanted to bring up the bracket for you guys one more time. We did it on our preview show in the podcast, but I wanted to have a little look-see at it just to get you reminded of what's coming up, what you should be anticipating, all of those different things for the SEC tournament. Devin says, I asked my dad his opinion about resting versus playing more. And he said the same thing. It's better to stay in a rhythm. I don't know that I lean one or the other. I just think sometimes we assume the easiest thing, which you've been playing so many games. Why wouldn't it help you to rest? But it can get you out of that rhythm. Now, can we all recognize that Auburn has not been in the rhythm the last couple games? So maybe this rest is a great thing to let them reset. We're all just overthinking it at this point. Let's be honest. We won't know until they get out there what was the right thing for them. Unbeaten Lake says Buzz Williams will probably find a way to get to the semifinals, and we don't want to play them at this time. He's made the finals twice and the semifinals in the last 3 years. Don't even wish that into being. I do not want Buzz Williams anywhere near my Auburn Tigers right now. He is he's deadly in any regard. All of that. Texas looked pretty good today. I didn't watch any of the game, but I'm not shocked by that. They got Trey Johnson, who's a pretty good player. Vanderbilt, beating Vanderbilt's not easy, even this year especially. I hope this is certainly one way to motivate the team. I hope Coach Pearl shows them the Yale game from last year. One might say a good strategy is if they've got little monitors in their locker room, the first thing they see they walk in every single game for the postseason is the Yale highlights. And by Yale highlights, I mean Yale's highlights. That would be certainly a good way to motivate the team. Devin says, I am just tired of waiting to see them play again. Do you all remember when I told you, enjoy this? When we were sitting there at the very beginning of January, and I told y'all, we got a lot of games to play, but it's going to go over, be over with very quickly. I told y'all this was going to be gone, so you needed to take it in, enjoy it. I have had a blast this regular season with the non-conference, the SEC. Yeah, the last 2 games really kind of put a sour taste in your mouth, but it got us used to that routine of seeing them every midweek and every Saturday. And now we have to go on this break in the very beginning of the week and watch them play on the weekends, essentially, if they start playing on Thursday in the tournament or whatever. But you are only guaranteed 2 more games of Auburn basketball, folks. Watching this team, these players, this coaching staff, the way everything is set up in this special year. Enjoy it. So many people out there are just so in there, I'm so grumpy about this team that they can't even just sit back and enjoy what has been accomplished, but also be excited about still what's out there in front of them. So I hear you. I'm ready to see them play again too and enjoy every single moment. To me, so here's the biggest thing for me. I'm such a fan of March Madness, and I am such a fan of the game that for me, I love the fact that Auburn gets to be in the One Shining Moment video now regularly, or has the opportunity to. I can't guarantee how they edit it, but if you win significantly, you'll be in there. I love that. I look forward to that video every single year and that music, and to see Auburn with that song going off that way is just the ultimate to me. That's why I love college basketball and I love March Madness. Unbeaten Lake. We won the hardest Maui of all time, the hardest SEC regular season of all time. Now, can we win the hardest SEC tournament of all time? That is certainly a great question. What's the difference, though, in that? In theory, the best teams of the SEC have been getting better throughout the year. And so the saying it's difficult at Maui is one thing at the beginning of the year where everybody's putting it together. Saying it's difficult in the SEC as the year progresses is another. They're getting better throughout it, but they start off at a certain level. Yeah, everybody now knows each other, knows how to beat each other, knows how not to beat each other. Everybody's dealing with injuries, things like that. It is going to be so difficult to win this thing. If Auburn walks out of there, it's awesome. The video, I'm sorry. Let me back up, Devin. I was talking about the one shiny moment video. If I didn't make that clear, let me make that clear. There is nothing more poetic, beautiful in sports than the one shiny moment video. I still, to this day, Auburn wasn't in it. I think it was the 2007 Kansas team that won over Memphis. I go back and watch that one on repeat because it just got me in my feels about the sport and stuff like that. And I used to dream of Auburn being in that at least once, but regularly. And here we are now. So I'm just excited to see what moments could or could not happen and how that might factor into Auburn being there. So that's what I was talking about. The one shining moment video. I'm not going to sing it for you today. Maybe another day. Go look up Luther Vandross, one shining. Well, now I think they play a different version of it, but Luther Vandross is the one that made it iconic. All right. I have talked a lot about what I want to discuss in regards to the tournament, to basketball, anything Auburn. This is a good point in the show to ask you all, what do you want to discuss? You guys take over and be the puppeteers here. What questions, what comments, Auburn sports or not, Auburn current events or not, would you like to dive into here? I do always appreciate the opportunity to come on here and expound a little bit about the current events and stuff. But if there's something that you just some weird Auburn related question that you wanted us to dive into, that was a good time to do that as well, because it's Auburn Family Night. And we like to jump into the variety of things that are out there. I will tell you this related to March Madness, and I mentioned it when Kevin called in. We will be doing our bracket challenge this year. Alumni Hall is going to be our sponsor, and we thank them for that, for the prize sponsor this year. They've done that with us before, and we're very appreciative of them signing on for that again this year. I will likely have that ready to go, as soon as the brackets go live. Now, the group may be made available early to our Conquer Club members, to some other people that support us through other venues, more other than the Conquer Club out there. So be looking for that. I've just got to create the group and start putting it out there for you guys. But maybe we'll do that tomorrow. I don't know. But for the general public, Sunday is when it'll go. All right, so Devin's going to switch gears for us to football. Have you gotten your tickets for Baylor yet? I'm excited. It's a night game now. So have we officially confirmed that it's a night game? Let's go look at the Auburn schedule here and see if they've updated it. I mean, it has to be, right? It would be dumb to switch it to a Friday and put it in the middle of the day, because there's already enough people in their feels about that. I think we all assumed that was what's going to happen. Let's see. No set time yet, but it's got to be a night game, doesn't it? I have not bought my tickets yet, but I'm hoping. Here's what my plan of action is. Once March Madness kind of winds down and the only focus that we really have is baseball, softball, and then spring practice and stuff, I'm going to start thinking forward a little bit into next year, and that'll be one of the things, because like I've told, I think you guys a lot here, I have a family that went to Baylor. I have more connections to Baylor than I would care to have. No offense to Baylor. I never in my life thought I'd be this well connected with Baylor University. So I'm hoping that we can get some plans started to be laid out and stuff for that, because I do plan to go out there this year. The day they announced it, if I still had all those connections, I was gonna. When I say connect, I'm not acting like I'm going there for free. I just mean, where to go park, where to somebody potentially to stay with. Maybe they have an easier access to a cheaper ticket, something like that. But we'll see. It's Friday. I can't imagine why they would be a day game. That would be stupid. Well, stupider things have happened, so never rule it out. But it would make sense if you're going to move it to a Friday to do it on an evening. And thank goodness, if we have to play in August, it'll be a night game. If I'm commissioner ever, we will never, ever see a double bye schedule again. We should not be starting games in August. In fact, there'd be no double byes, and we would not be playing a single game in August unless it is absolutely unavoidable. Can't do it. Speaking of tickets, how does it work for Auburn fans getting tickets to away games? Does the home team have a certain section for visiting fans? And how do you access those tickets? Just curious. My best advice to you is to go to aubtix.com, and they'll become available there. I don't know if they're on the secondary market yet. Let's go look. I'm looking at SeatGeek. Use the code E2C Network. So it looks like you can already get Auburn Baylor tickets on SeatGeek. They are currently without the fees listed at $121. So it's quite pricey. I am hoping to get a ticket for less than that. So keep that in mind, and you can go look at that. Look on SeatGeek, all those different places. Usually they try to put all of the visitors in a section when they're away, like we do. We keep all the visitors usually together, but you can't control what people do in the secondary market, and there is usually a certain allotment that the away team gets to sell on their own, and then it moves into the secondary market, I think. They were pretty pricey. You and the parents are going. Well, hope you use the code. You've done it before, I'm sure. So, WT going with some of our lovely, he meant this tongue in cheek. Lovely people out there said, how many games do you think Peyton Thorne costs us? Because there will be somebody who still wants to blame Peyton Thorne for that. That's how sad some people are these days. Thursday night game, SEC against Kentucky. We had played at Kentucky on Thursday nights a lot, haven't we? Or at least it seems like it to me. I can think of at least once, maybe a second time that's happened. Yeah, I caught the joke. Yeah. I knew you weren't being serious. This UWT, you're hardly ever being serious on this chat. Yeah, so I don't know how it necessarily is going to work for the away games, and how that I would imagine every school has a different policy, but those tickets are out there if you're interested. Enzo, what is this? This is for the berm too. Yeah, $121 dollars to go stand in the berm with the students. I guess that's where the students may be, and you have no assigned seat. I don't really care because I usually move around a lot during the game, and I'll probably even still be doing that. I don't know how it works there. I would assume I can move around a little bit. I like to get different shots, different angles, share the perspective, share the experience, all that stuff. So I'll probably just buy a berm ticket at the very least and move around if they allow us to do that. I do need to get on that soon to get some game plans together for what's going to happen there. And before you know it, the season tickets will be coming out too for Auburn, and I'll be definitely, well, I say definitely, I'll be doing my best to fork over some money to get those this year. On that note, let me say this. I don't know if you guys got a survey a couple weeks back from Auburn. If you've gone to a game recently, I bet they sent it out to you, and it gave you some insights into what they're thinking about for the north end zone seating expansion, renovation, whatever you want to call it. Very interesting. So I took the survey. Certainly a lot of the things really didn't appeal to me because of what the price was going to be, but there are some very interesting concepts, and I'm not sure if I'm necessarily allowed to share those at all. I would like to, because I think it would be a good video to make. So I'm going to do some more research on that and see if that's okay for us to use those images from that, and maybe make a video talking to you guys about that for those of you that didn't get that survey. I guess on that note, for anybody here in the chat, are you okay if whatever happens with seating in the end zone, the north end zone in the future, isn't necessarily an expansion in what people think of an expansion, just more upper deck seats to kind of close everything in? But what if it's more like the premium style stuff that everybody has a chance to buy? Some of it's pricier than others. Is everybody going to be okay with that? Because I think that's the way we're heading. And if you think about it one way, for those people that want to pay that opens up more seats for you in the stands. So however you choose to think about it, look into it. They wouldn't be offering all those things if it wasn't something that people wouldn't buy. Woo! It's getting a little bit more of a cough as we go along here. All right. We are right at about 50 minutes in the show. I would love to round out the show with some calls, so I will leave it open for a few more minutes. So if you haven't yet, please don't be shy. Pop in, just say hello at the end. And also, what other comments, questions, topics you would like to hit, put those in the chat. Right now, we'll round out our show with those few things. In the meantime, though, let me give you a few reminders about things that are coming up here at E2C Network. You already know Wednesday nights is the place to be. 9 Eastern time, keep that in mind. Also, Sunday evenings at 9 Eastern time, episode 117 of the Auburn Experience podcast is going to be live or recorded live. So join us for that. It's always a good time. We do a little Q&A after it as well. But we'd love for you to join us on Sunday and Wednesday nights at 9 Eastern time. They're both the same time now, which makes that a little bit easier. Other live streams, keep this in mind. We will be doing post-game streams for every single game that Auburn has in the SEC tournament, win or lose. So we will do one on Friday, immediately after the game here in studio. I will be traveling for a quick family thing on Saturday. So I will do some type of post-game stream if Auburn is playing that day, which we assume they will be. But I'm not sure about where it will be from, what the extent of it will be. It'll be a little bit different than what you guys witnessed on the first game. And if they were to make it the championship game, I think and I hope I will be back in town for that one in the studio. So, but just keep in mind post-game streams throughout the SEC tournament, as will be the case for the NCAA tournament. So we're not done talking basketball just yet, which I'm so thankful for. All right. Devin asked, when does spring practice start? Spring practice. Let me see if I don't know that we got an official date. They said after spring break. That's the last that Hugh Freeze was asked of it. I don't know that they have. Let me pull up something to make sure that hasn't been reported on quite yet. I think it's just a generic next week. Spring practice is a little later. Oh, let's see. I mean, it will be sooner than the week of the 17th. That's one article. Not seeing a specific date, but it should be next week because Hugh Freeze said it would be right after. They wanted to not have the gap that sometimes they have like a week of practice, then they go on spring break. So this time they're just doing it right after spring break. Unbeaten Lake says, think it would be cool to implement the 2015-2016 concept the university originally planned for the north end zone. And I think, to be honest with you, that's probably going to be at the heart of what's done. I just don't know it'll be exactly like people think it would be, right? That's why things go through iterations. Yes, it has been a long time, Devin. We'd love to hear from you in the kitchen. No less. Oh, sorry. This was what I meant right here. Who do you think Auburn will go after for the Lady Tigers for head coach? Any names mentioned? WT. There's something in the Conquer Club. Well, I'm sorry, you're not at that level, so sorry that you wouldn't have seen that. That's a Conquer Club Eagle tier and above. That where I get little tidbits. I exclusively share them with them at that. So sorry, I just kind of rubbed your nose in it there. How about this? Let me put it to you this way. If you go read some of the articles out there, there's some very prominent names, and there's a name that would make a lot of sense. Don't look too much further than that. I don't know when that's going to be figured out, but I do know somebody was in town. How about that? It's from Thomas. Thomas says, I think why isn't that coming up? I think not having the break will be better for the offense this spring. I think you could make that case all the way around. It's just better to keep the guys in a singular flow, especially when you have such a short amount of time that you can be together anyway. It's almost like you used to spend a week like getting things set how you want it done. Then they go on a break, forget about it, get out of shape for a week, and then come back and do it again. So it would be interesting to see, like, and they're not equal comparisons, but what does the team look like last year where they had that spring break, and then this year where they don't? Will they look more fluid? It's going to be a third year, and more of guys for Hugh Freeze are in the system, all that stuff. So that helps too. I don't know, but you can't hurt, right, Thomas? It can't hurt. Offense, defense, whatever. But we'll be in the fall practice discussions here pretty quickly. I don't know if I will be able to attend any of the spring practices this year. We get little media opportunities from time to time. I don't right now have any plans to be in Auburn until A-Day. Now, I say that, I don't think, with my travel on Saturday, I'll be passing Auburn. I don't know that I will have the time to stop it and do anything there, anything legitimate for you guys, like of significant value. So that, all that to be said, maybe I get to Auburn for a weekend before A-Day, but I'm ready to go gung-ho on A-Day week and enjoy the heck out of not just spring football, baseball, softball. I think it's women's tennis that's in town. It's men or women's tennis, but I think it's women's tennis. Plenty of other things that are going to be happening. So I hope you guys are excited for that. We'll do a post A-Day stream, I'm sure. The tip, yeah, those of you that have been here for a while, you know what we're going to do and how we're going to do it. Devin says, how do you think Auburn baseball will do in the SEC? Softball is going through a bit of a rough patch. I don't know if I'd call it a rough patch. It's rough in the sense that they got swept. But I think sometimes when we have such a great and maybe surprising non-conference, we're like, oh, we're ready for the SEC. And then you remember, oh, wait, it's the SEC in softball. And it's hard to break into that. I don't know. Yeah, and they lost today too, but that's not the SEC. I don't know. For them, still going to wait and see how they do the rest. Baseball, again, it's very similar to softball based on how they performed overall in non-conference. You were a little bit surprised, but Vanderbilt is a tough way to start. Not that there's any easy. Maybe there are easier options in the SEC baseball to start with, but Vanderbilt is just a tough one to start with. I don't know. I know some of you asked, would we be doing like post-game streams for those? And the answer obviously has been no. I've done different things throughout the years, and we've had varying degrees of success with them or not. If Auburn baseball makes a regional, if they host a regional, I'll be there. If they, I don't know that's going to happen. But any of those games we'll probably do post-game streams for and things like that. We used to do like a weekly show, and that kind of had some interest, but it kind of didn't. So we're still figuring out. Baseball's a tricky thing. I haven't really nailed down for how to do regular content for that people will actually watch. But we do want to spend some time talking about it, and that's why we try to do it on the Auburn Experience every week. All right. It's 58 minutes. We try to get out here right at an hour. But if there's anything last minute you want me to hit, go ahead and put it in the chat right now. Don't miss your chance. If you miss your chance, that's on you. You know when we're here. You've had all show to ask it, talk about it, bring it up. Phone lines are closed now. Reminders again. I hope you guys are ready for our bracket challenge. We will be announcing that soon-ish. And I know it seems oxymoronic to invite your friends because you decrease your chances to win. But in all honesty, I hope you guys understand why we ask you to do that, because it does play well for the prize sponsor and potentially entices them to do more with us. So we would really appreciate you guys inviting your friends, signing them up yourselves, and helping our numbers go up in those groups. And I knew WT is always good for a final one. Any ideas who the punter is for this year? That'd be Hudson Cack. You're not going to get me again, sir. I'm going to say it that way from now on. God bless those announcers. But anyway, a lot of new faces and a lot of new interesting names to learn and things like that for spring practice. Thank you guys so much for being here today on this evening. And appreciated all the questions, comments. Good to hear from Kevin tonight. We love having you here. We love discussing the Auburn experience with you guys each and every Wednesday evening. Hope that you'll come back next week. We'll have a lot to talk about and break down as we approach March Madness officially. We will be in the play-in games, but March Madness the day after we do Auburn Family Night will be fully into gear. Thank you guys for hanging out, being part of our little family within the Auburn family. Until we talk to you again, War Eagle.